Welcome back to the channel, folks. In today's video, we are reviewing the all-new 13-inch iPad Air. This is the latest from Apple and the first of its kind. This year, we have an 11 inches iPad Air, and then we have this behemoth of an iPad, 13 inches. There are a lot of good things about this. There are some bad things and some surprising things. So let's go ahead and hop in and see what's what. First things first, the size. That's the first thing that's gonna hit you when you look at this tablet. If you are new to the channel, you may not know this, I have very large hands. I struggle a little bit to palm this tablet. I do palm it, I'm able to hold it and have conversation with it, but there's a little bit of a struggle. Mind you, I'm able to palm my Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra. Anyways, Apple kept 60 Hertz for the refresh rate. But here's the thing though, that 60 Hertz feels like 90 Hertz. I don't know what it is. You know, and you would think because the tablet is so large, it will be noticeable, right? It'll be choppier because it's a wider, you have a lot more screen real estate. Somehow, I don't know what type of witchcraft Apple is doing over there. It's smooth. It's pretty smooth. It's not 120 Hertz. Refresh rate smooth, but it is smooth. So if that was one of the things holding you back, you should definitely give it a chance. It works pretty well. Things are smooth and you're able to do a whole rack of things. And speaking of a whole rack of things, we all do know that iPad OS is pretty restrictive, right? In terms of, how much it will allow for you to do on that, let's say user interface, right? Having a tablet this size definitely allows for you to be more comfortable in a way you multitask on an iPad, on iPad OS. Unfortunately, it's still not at a level where it can offer a full-blown, desktop experience like, let's say, Samsung Dex does, right? But still, having something this large, you are going to enjoy multitasking, whatever that means in the world of iPads. You will enjoy multitasking here more, right? Which is, again, another reason I would say if you were considering picking up the iPad Air and you don't mind the size, I would say go for this large one. It's pretty cool. I personally like it. And the other thing with that is, back in the day, if you wanted something about this size, like the 12.9 inch, I believe that was of the iPad Pro, you would have had to go for the iPad Pro in order to get a larger one. So it was either the iPad Air 10.9 inches, or if you wanted something larger, you would have had to go for the iPad Pro. Nowadays, you have that choice with it, that same, series, either the Air 11 inch or this one. Anyways, the next thing still about this display is the placement of the selfie camera. Now you have that obviously facing and on the long side of the tablet. That's the proper way, right? Because when you're talking to grandma or your teacher or your friends, whatever, you hold your tablet in landscape mode, right? So it's perfect this way. And this is, by the way, a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera that will support center stage. So it's gonna automatically adjust to make sure that everyone stays within the frame. That's pretty cool. And since we're talking camera, let's go ahead and go to the one on the back. That's also a 12 megapixel camera, but this one is a wide angle camera. Now, most people, when it comes down to, capturing life's moment, they don't necessarily go for their tablets, right? They would generally go for their phones, right? Because the better camera is on there. But still, the camera on here, it's not bad for a tablet, right? Pretty good for scanning documents and things like that. And on top of that, it can actually support up to 4K videos. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to some additional features that you have on this tablet here. We do have the Apple Pencil Pad. This is where you'll have that Apple Pencil charge. This is another good thing about this tablet, right? It's the fact that it supports the new Apple Pencil Pro, which, by the way, is pretty neat. It's a pretty nice pen, and I'm generally not an Apple Pencil fan because of the plastic tip. When it's tap on the display there, that noise annoys me. But still, the new Apple Pencil Pro is actually pretty cool. I like all of the new features, like the barrel, like all of the new features that come with it are pretty cool. So you have the ability to take advantage of this pen using your iPad Air here, so you don't need to go for the iPad Pro. The other thing that's good about this iPad is the power, right? a lot of manufacturers, whether it be Samsung, Lenovo, Xiaomi, whatever the case may be, when they have a mid-range model of a device, it truly is a mid-range. And then they'll have the flagship, which would be truly a flagship. With Apple here, the line, is blurred. I can't tell whether this is even a mid-range anymore. It's loaded with an M2 chip, which is insanely powerful, right? So you have a supposedly mid-range tablet. I mean, this is considered to be a mid-range with Apple, but it's so freaking powerful that there's no need for you to go for an iPad Pro. If you were considering the larger 13-inch iPad Pro, this would be, without a doubt, the better choice. Save your money and go for this, right? Maybe you're looking for the 120 hertz refresh rate. This is 60 hertz, but it is pretty smooth. Unless, of course, you're a stickler for a refresh rate. Then maybe you should go for that one. Otherwise, this would do well for the vast majority of the population out there. The other thing is that the display type that you have here is an IPS LCD with 600 nits, I believe, so fairly bright, right? Colors are vibrant. The image quality is pretty sharp, high resolution on here. Unless you are looking for that tandem OLED that's available on the iPad Pro, which, by the way, is pretty nice. This is a nice display. So unless you are looking for an OLED display specifically, or something that can hit 1600 nits, I believe peak brightness is on the iPad Pro, this should do. When it comes down to performance, playing games on here, very, very good. It's a large tablet also, so if you are going to be gaming with this, I would suggest using a controller, otherwise kind of awkward holding it like this. Anyways, tasks that are heavy, but highly focused, let's say a GPU oriented type of task like video editing, perfect on here. You can edit videos, edit photos, all that stuff. Heavy task, you could do them here. Remember, I mentioned in terms of multitasking, doing a whole rack of things at the same time, not the tablet for it, but if you have one task that is just heavy and just needs straight raw power, this is the one to go for. This is the one to use for those watching movies. It's a nice display. I personally am not a fan of the aspect ratio on here because you have those big black bars on here, but image quality is good, right? And that counts for something. So in terms of entertainment, it's good for watching movies, watching videos, navigating the internet, checking your emails and things like that, reading. Very nice tablet. It's a large tablet, so make sure that if you're reading, maybe you're laying on the bed, if you were to drop this on in your face, it would hurt. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing here. It's the battery. It is loaded with a large battery, right? The proportionally large battery that would fit well with this. And battery life is pretty good. I didn't expect any less. I mean, Apple is not necessarily known for bad battery life anyway, so I expect this to have very good and long life when it comes down to battery. As far as the configs go, this here is the base model with 128 gigs of internal storage. It comes with 8 gigs of RAM, of course, as you would imagine. With the M2 chip loaded here, you have to have that 8 gigs of RAM, right? So 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage, non-expandable. So if you buy 128 gigs of internal storage with your iPad like I did here, that's all you have. You have 128 gigs of internal storage. You cannot add to it. If anything, the system itself is going to eat up a good chunk, and whatever you're left with is what you have. So if you want to go ahead and buy one, make sure that it's the correct amount of storage that you need, right? The next config is going to be 256 gigs of internal storage, so that's definitely going to cost you a pretty penny. And by the way, did I add that, speaking of pretty penny, the pencil here doesn't come included with the tablet like it is the case with some tablets out there, right? So you have to buy the Apple Pencil Pro here separately. That's going to run you $130. Or you can go for the USB Type-C or the USB-C Apple Pencil, and that should run you, I believe, that should run you $80 or $90. It's either $79 or $89. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, so that is extra cost to you. The other thing I'm going to add here, which is not so great, is that it's compatible with the new Apple Pencils here, but not backwards compatible with the previous one. So you would have to buy either this or the USB-C one in order to use it on here. You have Touch ID right here at the top. It is fast, it's secure, I absolutely love it. I prefer physical fingerprint sensors in general, right? You also have a quad speaker setup here, but that's just a setup. You don't actually have 4 speakers here. I believe you have 2. But you know, sound quality is pretty decent. You know, it's definitely fuller, it's loud. No issues there, no complaints with that. Now, with all this being said, and I didn't really mean for this video to be long, with all this being said, who is this tablet made for? This is made for the average consumer who wants a large iPad, right? Remember, for a long time, if you wanted to go for a large iPad, you were obligated to purchase the iPad Pro. You had to jump, you know, the line into the next one, right? Nowadays, Apple went ahead and, you know, created this one. This is, again, the first of its kind, of its iteration. So if you want to go ahead and purchase this, this is a good opportunity for you. So it's made for those average consumers who just want a large iPad Pro, but also, and I'm even thinking the main people this is made for would be artists that made this very large tablet compatible with a Pro stylus or with their Pro stylus. I mean, granted, the 11-inch is also compatible with it, but still, that is a big win for artists who prefer the Apple platform, right? So this is an opportunity for them to get more screen real estate at a bargain. Well, let me put some quotes there, at a bargain, at least when it comes to Apple, right? But anyway, so those are 2 main crowds that I think are targeted by this. Alongside that, even if you just want a really, really powerful tablet on the iPad side, this is a nice alternative. So you don't necessarily have to be an artist or somebody just looking for a large tablet. If you just want something that is very powerful, you can go for either this or the 11-inch. Those are still, I mean, they're both very powerful tablets for the average person, right? So that's just my take. But anyways, what is your take on this? Why do you think Apple made this? Let me know in the comment section. I would love to get your take in the comment section. Make sure, of course, to like the video, subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm going to catch you in the comment section like I always do. Make sure to share this video if you know anyone who will be interested. I'm also going to catch you in the next video. Up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.